Hi everyone, a very good afternoon to all of you. I welcome you all to the weekly Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. In this particular video, we are going to discuss entire current affair of past 1 week, and then in the today's video, we are going to take the current affairs from 19th of August to 25th of August. Also, I would like to tell you that this particular video will be divided in two parts, that is articles specifically important for prelims examination and articles important for mains examination. You can download PDF of this entire session from our Telegram channel. Okay, from and the link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube, so you can visit and can download this particular PDF. Now let's get started. But before I start, I just would like to inform you about our ethics live incoming batch. So this particular batch will focus on entire ethics. So ethics foundation would be taken up here. There will be around 40 classes in this particular batch. There will be dedicated classes on case studies. You can watch the batch live. However, if you miss the class live, then you can also watch it later word also you can watch it. Moreover, you will be having Zoom session with me, and also the answer writing will be the part of this particular module. This module is going to get started from 5th of September, and there is a link that is given here in the comments. You can join this particular batch through this particular link. So let's get started now with the session. Now, first article that we are going to take here, it is analyzing the employment data debate. Were 8 crore jobs created? Now, this particular article, first of all, where we are going to utilize this particular article will be utilized with respect to GS paper number 3, issues related to Indian economy. Issues related to Indian economy. Now, first of all, this particular data has been written in basically there are too much technical details that have been mentioned. You are not really required to go too much in detail in the technical nitty-gritties of this particular article. What we need to focus upon, that I will just discuss with you here. Now, first of all, before we go in this particular article, there are certain basic things that we need to understand. Now, you see, when we talk about India, so period between 2020 to 2040 is the period of golden window of demographic dividend. It is the period of golden window of demographic dividend. Okay, who says this thing? This is said by United Nation Population Fund. So 2020 to 2040 is golden window of demographic dividend for India. Demographic dividend for India. Now, what is a demographic dividend? Demographic dividend refers to economic benefit. Demographic means related to population. So demographic dividend refers to peculiar economic advantage that a country will receive because of because of favorable population. What is favorable population? Population that is in the working age, that is the favorable population. So as India has more young population, when we talk about average age of India today, so average age of India today is 28 years. Compared to China, average age of China is 37 years. It is 45 years in Western Europe and 48 in Japan. 48 in Japan, 45 in Europe, 37 in China, 28 in India. So India has exceptionally young population. Because of this young population, India will get economic advantage, demographic dividend. Now you see this particular thing. That when we talk about young population, magically young population will not provide economic advantage. Young population's economic advantage will only be there when this young population will have jobs. If you are not able to create jobs, now first of all, there should be young demography. After that, there should be human capital enhancement. Human capital enhancement includes skill development. Healthy population should be there. It means population should be educated. So demography, then human capital enhancement, and then jobs. So these three things have to be there together. If any one is missing, country will not get economic advantage. Now, India, the biggest problem that India has is on the front number 2 and front number 3. That is human capital enhancement and jobs. Now, recently on the job front, what happened? Prime Minister mentioned in one of Prime Minister mentioned here that 8 crore jobs have been created. 8 crore jobs have been created in recent times. Now, let's see this particular thing, that whether the 8 crore jobs are created, what the article mentions on this particular thing. So basically, article provides that first of all, Prime Minister made the claim on the basis of India claims database. India claims database. First of all, this India claims data, it is released by Reserve Bank of India. So this is an RBI's data. Now, there are certain concerns in this particular data which is being used to claim 8 crore job. Now, first of all, when we talk about this particular claims data, so it measures the productivity across basic factors of production. Now, in basic factors of production, so capital, labor, energy, material, and services. So K stands for capital, L stands for labor, E stands for energy, M stands for material, and S stands for services. So basically, this claims survey, it measures productivity of capital, productivity of labor, energy, resources, etc. So basically, what has happened, basically indirectly, this is being said that if productivity factor across claims have increased, okay, indirectly it showcases that more people have got jobs. This is the problem, that this particular data, it is not for productivity. The data is not specifically designed to track employment. It is not, it is not designed to track employment. It is designed to track productivity. So therefore, first of all, correlation is not there. Correlation is not there. Second thing that comes here is that the population data that is being used, that is also old here. Population data that is being used, it is old. Okay. Now, when we have other surveys, these other surveys point to some different direction. For example, we have SU's survey. SU's survey stands for Annual Survey of Unincorporated Sector Enterprises. Now, SU's survey, which actually tracks employment, it shows that job creation is there, but it is not 8 crore. It is not 8 crore. So therefore, SU survey denies what is being claimed. Then after that, we have other surveys also. For example, periodic labor force survey is there. National family health surveys are there. They also indicate to the different pattern that such kind of jobs have not been there. Moreover, the concern that comes here is quality of jobs. If even job has got increased, there is no such detail that is being given, that what is the quality of job, whether these jobs are good paying jobs, decent paying jobs or not, what is the social security attached with these kind of jobs. And then impact of COVID has also not been accounted. So therefore, job creation happens to be an important priority, developmental priority for India, because you see this thing that 2020 to 2040 is the golden window for demographic dividend. So genuine efforts should be made to create jobs, and there should be accurate reflective data on this particular thing, so that corrective actions timely should be taken up. This is all about it. Now, deliberately in this particular article, too much technical nitty-gritties are there, which I have deliberately avoided because they don't serve utility for examination. Now, moving on in this particular direction, and let's go to the next article. Let's move to next article. Why being a product nation helps driving sustainable economic growth. Now, this particular article, again, we are going to discuss with respect to GS paper 3, GS paper, GS paper 3, sectors of economy. Now, first of all, before we go in the detail, just I want to zoom out here. Sorry, zoom in here. Now, here we have Sten-Shi smile curve. Sten-Shi smile curve. Now it is called as smile curve because of the shape of this particular curve. Now, this smile curve, it indicates this particular thing, that you see, we have manufacturing here. Now, manufacturing leads to least value addition. So, here on y-axis we have value added, on x-axis we have production chain. So, basically, when we talk about the value addition that is done, so the least value addition is done in manufacturing. Okay, so research and development, concept design, branding, okay, distribution, marketing, sales, after sales, or design. These are certain areas which are economically more value adding. They fetch more economic value, more economic worth. Just let's take one example. We have example of Apple. So if you have ever bought an iPhone, or somebody in your family or friends is having an iPhone, if you see behind mobile phone, now they don't write old versions. It used to be written that designed by Apple in California, manufactured in China. Now Apple has to be, Apple is one of the most valued company in the world. Okay, but Apple does its own manufacturing. Apple is simply focused on designing iPhone, iPad, these products. They do R&D. Entire manufacturing they have decentralized to other players. For example, Foxconn happens to be the major manufacturer for the Apple products. So what Apple is doing? Apple is doing R&D. Apple is marketing their product. Okay, fine. They also own distribution through the Apple stores that they have. They don't do manufacturing. Now, all the time we talk about make in India, make in India, make in India. This particular article mentions this particular thing, that we need to move beyond the idea of manufacturing and we need to explore other dimensions. For example, for example, India need to go in the other sectors. Okay. So therefore, article emphasizes that India should emerge as a product nation. India should emerge as a product nation, not the manufacturing nation, product nation. Now, in product nation, what India needs to focus upon? What India needs to focus upon? Product design, innovation, branding, and not just manufacturing. Though we are not saying this particular thing that manufacturing is useless, manufacturing is not needed. Manufacturing has its some advantages. For example, you see this thing. Manufacturing has the potential to employ more and more people. And within manufacturing, 4 years back, there was economic survey which had a dedicated chapter by the name of shoes and jeans. What is this shoes and jeans? Economic survey specifically provided that India need to focus on low-end manufacturing. Even in manufacturing, low-end manufacturing is one which can create a lot of jobs. For example, a shoe manufacturing factory, clothes manufacturing factory will hire or will employ more people compared to an automobile industry. In automobile industry, maximum work is being done by robots and machines. But in shoes manufacturing, garment manufacturing, a lot of work is done by humans. So within manufacturing, even the low-end manufacturing can employ more and more women, more and more people, more and more people. So therefore, manufacturing has its own advantage. But in terms of value, we need to aspire for product nation where R&D, innovation, branding, design, something that is more important. And companies such as Apple, they have focused on this particular thing. They have outsourced their entire manufacturing. Now, what are the benefits for India to focus on being a product nation and to uh, go away or go beyond the manufacturing? Number one, it can capture more economic value. So basically, designing, research, innovation, it can fetch more economic value. Okay, high priced products can be sold by India. Second second when we talk about manufacturing, already India has made a lot more progress in manufacturing because of the Make in India, production linked incentive scheme, etc., that we have come out with. And now we need to move beyond the manufacturing. Okay, so that particular front vertical has already been solved. Also, then there are other examples. When we talk about other countries, for example, South Korea, Taiwan, China, they are transitioning from manufacturing to the product based economy. In fact, China has now realized that in long run, in order to maintain their economic supremacy, they need to transition. And now China is not that much in the low end manufacturing. China is moving towards the product manufacturing. So we have examples. Then also, being a product nation also serves, it is also sustainable. Manufacturing leads to lot of pollution, it leads to lot of consumption of resources. So therefore, environmentally also, being a product economy is sustainable for India. And then it will also improve the value of India's exports. So as as R&D product, as R&D products, etc. Fine, they command a premium pricing, so it can also provide economic advantage to India. So these are all the benefits that we need to focus on being a product nation rather than just a manufacturing nation. Very good idea, very good insight, and I will advise you to please specifically use these particular references in your answer. For example, Stan Shee's smile curve. Use these particular kind of things. Now, moving in this particular direction. Moving on in this particular direction. Okay. Then there was this particular article on ethanol blending program, India's progress and challenges. Let's discuss about this. Now, this particular article we are going to use for GS paper number 3, environment ecology. GS paper number 3, environment ecology. Now, first of all, before we go in this particular article, there are certain basic things that I just want to tell you here. So basically, India has taken the goal of 20% ethanol blending, 20% ethanol blending by 2025. Okay, E20 by 25, E20 by 25. So basically, what is ethanol blending? So regular petrol that is there, it is to be blended with ethanol. So ethanol is a byproduct of sugarcane. It can be retrieved from other things also, such as maize. Okay, other food products also it can be retrieved. Now we are also focusing on retrieving ethanol from non-food products also. Second generation biofuel, that is from non-food products. But as of now, majorly it is retrieved from the sugarcane. Now this ethanol, it can be blended with petrol, and as it will be blended with petrol, it will have major benefits. Now, what type of benefits will be there for with the ethanol blending? Number one benefit, you see this particular thing, every year we are importing 84% of India's oil needs, they are met by imports. So we have a lot of dependency on the other countries. If we will achieve 20% target, now ethanol can be manufactured within the country. So therefore we can cut down that particular fuel need. We can cut down the demand that we can cut down the dependence on the other countries. One. Secondly, as we are importing fuel, we also are giving, as we are importing fuel, we also need to pay for that. Okay, it leads to high current account deficit. It leads to high current account deficit. So that will also come under control. Third, its carbon emissions will be less. So it will be environmentally more sensitive. It will be environmentally more sensitive. Now, as ethanol blending is there, so I told you that we need to achieve the goal of 20% ethanol blending by 25-26. Now, as we want to blend petrol with 20% ethanols, we will be requiring around 1000 crore liter of ethanol. Will be requiring 1000 crore liter of ethanol. Now, as ethanol blending is concerned, already 10.2% ethanol blending target has been achieved. So, petrol is getting blended. So 20% is to be done, 10.2% blending target has been achieved. Okay, now moreover, as I told you that 1000 crore liter of ethanol is needed. So projected capacity was, see, it is 462 crore liter in 2021. And on the, as the present progress is there, it is projected that it will reach to 760 crore by 25-26. That is the year in which 20% blending is to be achieved. Now, by the way, first of all, we need to increase this particular pace of manufacturing production, because 760 crore will mean effectively 25% shortfall. It will mean effectively 25% shortfall. Okay, so this is there that we have. Then after that, then after that, then after that, with respect to ethanol, there is one more concern that comes. There is one more concern that comes, and this concern is food versus fuel debate. Food versus fuel debate. Now, what is this food versus fuel debate? I told you that ethanol, it is to be derived from sugarcane. Now, sugarcane, it is a food crop. Okay, it is a food crop. So therefore, using sugarcane has certain implications. Moreover, now government is also saying that we want to diversify not only sugarcane, we are also trying to retrieve ethanol from maize, but also again it happens to be a food crop. So food versus fuel debate has been there. So therefore, there is a focus that as far as possible, we should transition to second generation, third generation biofuels, where the food, the fuel will be derived from non-food crops, so that this particular controversy is solved. Moreover, there is one more issue that comes when ethanol blending is concerned. Now you see, when the sugarcane is concerned, sugarcane consumes a lot of water. Sugarcane consumes a lot of water. It is a water intensive crop. It is a water intensive crops. Fine. Now, what it might lead to? What it might lead to? It might lead to a restraint on the water resources, and already there is water stress that India is facing. Already, water stress is India. What is it facing? Okay. So therefore, we need to focus on alternative crops. We need to focus on alternative crops. Now, certain benefits that India is already having is that is already we are developing we are developing the dual feed distilleries. Now, dual feed distilleries, what they can do, they can process sugarcane juice, sugarcane grains. Okay. Also, sugarcane juice, grains, other type of grains it can process. Also, it can produce ethanol. Okay. So this is all about it. Now, guys, economic impact will be there. Fine, it will give additional income to the sugarcane growers. Environmental benefit will be there. So therefore, right now there are certain challenges that we need to focus upon. First of all, raw material and infrastructure. As we discussed that 1000 crore liter of ethanol will be needed, but as per the present trajectory, will be able to manufacture or develop only 760 crores. So raw material and infrastructure, both that is needed, should be arranged. Okay, government restriction on using B heavy molasses, sugar cane juice is there, which should be considered. But I frankly believe that it's right. Now, first of all, what is this B heavy molasses sugar cane juice? Now you see. So basically, suppose you have a sugar cane. You have a sugar cane. Now, what do? You directly take out the juice from the sugar cane. Now I can make ethanol from this particular juice, but it is restricted. It is restricted. Then there are A heavy molasses, B heavy molasses. What is B heavy molasses? Now, once I have retrieved the juice from the sugar cane, that molasses, that leftover waste that is there, that is molasses. If that molasses is processed once, it is A heavy molasses. If it is processed twice, it becomes a B heavy molasses. Then if it is processed more, then you'll get C heavy molasses. So C heavy molasses can be used for sugarcane. Okay, sugarcane juice is not allowed. Sugarcane juice is not allowed for ethanol. B heavy molasses is not allowed for ethanol. B heavy molasses is not allowed for ethanol. So therefore, government need to reconsider these particular things. But reconsideration should only always focus this particular thing, that threat to food security should not be there. Threat to food security should not be there. Okay, that is all about it. Then moving on. Now, there was this particular article, and this article contains some good data with respect to GS paper number 3, tyranny of inequality. Now, GS paper number 3, economic issues, we'll see this particular article. Now, first of all, guys, this particular article talks about inequality that has increased drastically over the past few years. First of all, the article, it has a very good quotation mentioned here by Honor D. Balzac. Honor D. Balzac. So Honor D. Balzac says, behind every great fortune, there is a crime. There is a crime. Behind every great fortune, there is a crime. Now, article says that wealth accumulation that happens, wealth accumulation, wealth maximization, when it happens, it has some immoral, unethical things attached with that. Unethical, immoral things attached with that. Now, when we talk about India, there is a lot of wealth concentration that has happened in last few years. There's a lot of wealth concentration that has happened in the last few years. Now, Thomas Piketty, a French economist, gives us some data with respect to wealth concentration and says top 1%, top 1% earners in India, top 1% income earners in India, they control 22.6. Top 1% people, they have 22.6% of pre-tax income. pre-tax income. Now this is in 2022. Then after that, you see in 1980, top 1% people, they had 7.3% of pre-tax income. 2022, top 1% people have 22.6% of pre-tax income. Can you see drastic jump that has happened from 7.3% to 22.6%? So inequality has widened up. Wealth concentration has happened in the hands of a few people only. Wealth concentration happened in hand of few people only. Also, if you see, share of total wealth has also increased. So top 1% people, they had 12.5% wealth. 12.5% wealth in 1980. Okay, 12.5% wealth in 1980. It has went up to 40%. It has went up to 40%. So there, disproportionate wealth maximization in the hand of few people has happened. So this is something which shows that inequality is increasing, and India is one of the most unequal country in the world. There is also one more data. So up till now, what we discussed, Thomas Piketty's data. Then Gallup World Poll surveys there. And then there is a think tank, CMI. Now this is India-based think tank. It is a private think tank, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. So Gallup World Poll and CMI, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, they also provide this particular thing, that there is a relationship between income inequality and corruption. So as income inequality is increasing, corruption also tends to increase. So has income inequality increased? Yes, it has increased from 1980 to 2022. Corruption also follows along with that. How corruption happens as inequality increases? Let's discuss this. So basically, article provides this particular thing, that income inequality leads to rent-seeking behavior. Now, first of all, what is rent-seeking behavior? So rent-seeking behavior refers to a phenomena where a person tries to get economic advantage without the creation of any value. So basically, what is happening? Rich people, they are getting benefit just because they have a social connection, because they have a connection with politicians, political parties. They are able to get a lot of economic benefits. They are able to get economic rebates. Okay, rent seeking behavior increases. Okay, then after that, next you see this particular thing, inequality leads to corruption. Let's further explore this more. So basically, influence on projects. So basically, as there is wealth inequality, means few people, they control a lot of industries. They control a lot of enterprises. What is happening? Even contracts, new contracts that are there, economic opportunities there that are there, tenders for development of infrastructure that are there, they are going to only few companies. Which are connected to the wealthy individuals. And as they know that they are the only viable option, they develop a complacency attitude. And by that, quality of public infrastructure, it suffers. Also, what happens? It influences these particular projects. Then there is government business corruption, which is called as crony capitalism. That also increases. Government deliberately comes out with the policies which provide benefit to certain vested interests, certain corporate houses. Okay, so corruption. Government contracts, fine. They are given to few private individuals because of the bribe that they are giving to the government. So crony capitalism, it is exaggerated. Now, globalization also has played a role in this particular direction. Okay, so globalization has also played a role in this particular direction. Now, what is the role of globalization? So, what has globalization? Globalization has made natural resources more valuable. Okay, for example, today resource, iron ore, copper, lithium. Okay, these particular resources have become more economically important. They have become more valuable. And these regulatory agencies, they play a very important role in the regulation of these resources. And as wealthy people have resource, they can influence the regulatory authorities, can get approval for these natural resources. And as they are mining them, as they are exporting them, as they are refining them, using them, again, again, they have, again, what is happening? They are becoming more and more wealthy. And in this capacity, there are the allegations that have been made on Adani Group also. Fine. But nothing much has happened in this particular direction. So what are the recommendation? Number one, taxation and transparency. So first of all, India should have now. Recently, there was one particular report also that came that now income tax paid by people, it is more than the corporate tax that is being collected. So taxation should be used in such a way that wealthy people, rich people should be taxed positively so that their excess wealth can be used for welfare of society. Second thing is that economic reforms, rapid, and there are rapid, sustained, meaningful economic resources reforms are needed so that wealth maximization, so that the wealth inequality that has happened, it could be mitigated. Now, moving on to the next article. Landslide tragedy in Kerala, a call for comprehensive mitigation policies. Landslide happens to be, it seems to be a natural disaster, but now it's not only a natural disaster. It is being exacerbated because of anthropogenic factors, because of intervention of humans in the nature. Now, first of all, when we talk about the Kerala, when we talk about Kerala, okay. So first of all, as we talk about Kerala, geographic location of Kerala and environmental factors of Kerala make it more susceptible to landslides. To landslides, 60%, Kerala accounts for 60% of landslides that are happening in India. Okay. Secondly, when we talk about proneness of Kerala with respect to the landslides, so 13 of the Kerala's districts, they are prone to landslides. They are prone to landslides. Then, apart from Kerala, there are other states also which are more prone to landslides. For example, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, they are prone to landslides. And in fact, India is the country which is most impacted by landslide. India is the country which is most impacted by landslide. You see this particular thing. According to EMDAT database, 51% of global landslides, 51% of global landslides, they occur in 7 developing countries. And out of that 7 developing countries, India is one of them. And it affects 12 million people. It affects 12 million people. Now, these landslides have what human, it takes human toll. It has a negative impact on infrastructure. Okay, human toll, it has a negative impact on infrastructure. Now, government has taken certain initiatives also in this particular direction. For example, there is National Landslide Susceptibility Mapping Program. National Landslide Susceptibility Mapping Program. Now, a minute. Okay, guys. So there was some issue that came in between. Because of that, I was just doing that. I hope that's fine. Now, moving on. So basically, what we were discussing the different initiatives that have been taken up by the government in this particular direction. So there is a National Landslide Susceptibility Mapping Program. Now, this particular program is by Geological Survey of India, and it aims to identify vulnerable areas which are more susceptible to the landslide and the period time when they are more susceptible to the landslide, so that people when they are traveling to those areas they can maintain precaution. People living in those areas, they can maintain precaution. Then after, there is a landslide early warning system. Now this particular system is designed to provide early warning in the event of landslide. So landslides, they get impacted, they are basically they are impacted because of the large number of factors. For example, because of the rains, etc., also the landslide is impacted. So it gives early warnings in this particular direction. Then after that, next we have Landslide Atlas of India, which is prepared by Department of Space, which provides the satellite data to understand the situational awareness with respect to landslides. So these are all the initiatives that we have. But at the same time, policy gaps are there. We can find that effective implementation of these particular initiatives has not happened. And because of lack of implementation, we see this particular thing that every year there are landslides, people get suffered. And recently there was Kerala incident that happened. So that is all in this particular direction. Now moving on to the next article. Lateral entry in bureaucracy, uh, balancing governance reforms and social justice. Now, this particular article, we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to governance, and within the governance, there is this lateral entry that has been in news. We'll see that. First of all, before we go in this particular article, there are few basic things that I just would like to tell you before this. So, what is this lateral entry? By the way, recently there was an advertisement that was posted and the lateral entrants were invited in governance. Now, government scrapped that particular advertisement. What is this word lateral entry? So, lateral entry means bringing a specialist officer directly from the private sector in government at mid or higher level bureaucratic position. So at the level of director, at the level of joint secretary, directly you are bringing people from private sector. Here at these particular levels. That is lateral entry. Now, why lateral entry is needed? Lateral entry is often needed to bring more energy, to infuse corporatization type of character in bureaucracy. Now, let's first of all see status of lateral entry. So, what is lateral entry? Basic definition: appointing individuals from outside, from private sector, academia into senior position, joint secretary, director. Now, as lateral entry is concerned, so second ARC and Niti Aayog in 2017 suggested lateral entry mechanism to fill the positions in bureaucracy. And since 2018, government is actively using lateral entry route, and 63 individuals they have been appointed through lateral entry. 57 right now are working. Now, so now, what happened? I told you that government floated an advertisement where it invited lateral entrants, but then it is scrapped. So, political opposition parties, they said this thing that government wants to. So, you see, in this lateral entry invitation that were there, SC, ST, OBC reservation was not there. So, it was said that usually these particular positions would have been filled by the candidates who have selected from the UPSC, and OBC, SC, ST might have got a chance here. But in this lateral entry invitation that government raised through advertisement, there is no reservation for SC, ST, OBC people. So it was said that government is not giving social justice here in this particular case. So caste-based politics came in between. Now, first of all, guys, as present day governance paradigm is concerned, there are certain challenges in present day governance paradigm. There are certain challenges that are there. Okay, there are sometimes experience from specialized field is needed. You see, today we are dealing with complex challenges. AI is there, machine to machine communication is there, data privacy. These are the complex challenges which need special expertise. And often generalist civil servants, they might not have that particular expertise. So therefore, it becomes crucial to bring talent from the private sector. Also, globally, if we see countries such as US, China, they are bringing the specialists from the different fields in the governance. Okay. So therefore, there is a preference towards the lateral entry. Now, arguments in favor of lateral entry. First of all, as I told, specialized skills and expertise, it will enter in bureaucracy, which is very much needed. So complex challenges in finance, complex challenges in technology, new complex emerging challenges in governance, they can be addressed more effectively by the lateral entrants. The next is they can bring innovation, they can bring reform. Often we find this particular thing, that bureaucracy in India, it is characterized by having a lot of mediocrity. So what happens, bureaucracy, it is characterized by having a lot of mediocrity. So fresh talent, it can bring innovation, it can bring new ideas, it can bring a flair of corporatization in bureaucracy that can be helpful. Then after that, there are a lot of vacancies, and as per one of a report by DOPT, 1500 positions at mid and senior level bureaucracy, they are lying vacant. So they can be filled. Okay. They can bring a change in work culture. So often bureaucratic work culture that prevails in bureaucracy, it drives lack of innovation. It brings mediocrity. Okay. Often lack of motivation, lack of morale is there. So new ideas, new 21st century ideas which are aligned with the modern work culture, they can be brought. Okay. However, there are certain criticism, challenges in the lateral entry. Number one, short tenure. So they are being invited for 3 years. So point is that really talented people who will compromise in their job in private sector and will just come for 3 years. So will you be able to bring the talented people? That is a doubt. Objectivity and neutrality. So see, there might be the thing. Now see, these people are directly being brought in the senior positions. There might be a way that favorites or the people having political connections are coming here. Okay. It will have impact on permanent officers' morale. So permanent officers who might have gone in these positions through the promotions, their motivation will be impacted. Okay, outsider syndrome. So bureaucrats may resist the outsiders. Okay, so basically what will happen, this might not be good for governance. Okay, this is something. Now IS officers reach joint secretary level position after 17 years, fine, around the age of 45. Now similar requirements could deter top private sector candidate. Now you see, at 45 years of age, a person in private sector might be settled and might be at a very high position. Why he will go in government where the salaries are not that much compared to private sector, where perks are not that much compared to the private sector? So if lateral entry is to be brought, number one, ensure that the process of selection needs to be entirely transparent, so that no such allegation of favoritism, nepotism is there. Secondly, intensive training program is needed, so that the mindset that is needed for governance, uh, such mindset can be learned by the lateral entrants. Find clear role definition is to be given. Okay, age barriers are to be relaxed, and SC/ST officers, they constitute very less in higher bureaucracy, so they make only 4% of top bureaucratic positions. So point is that the concern that was raised by opposition party, that SC/ST, OBC people will not get benefit, that is also to be addressed. That is also to be addressed. Okay, so guys, I hope that you have able to understand. I hope that you have been able to understand it. Okay, I hope you are able to understand it. Fine. So guys, that is all guys in this particular direction, and with this we come to an end to this particular section. Now, moving on guys in this particular direction, next section that we have here, from here onwards, it is the articles related to the prelims examination. Now, after this, the articles that we have here, they are related largely to the prelims examination. So let's discuss that. So let's discuss that. Okay. Now, so there was Bhavishya software that was in news. Bhavishya software that was in news. So recently, Department of Pension and Pensioners Welfare, they have released this pension processing software by the name of Bhavishya. Now, this particular software will ensure that the people who have got retired, they get their pensions well in the time. So all the pension related issues fine will be addressed by this particular software. So it will ensure auto registration of retirees. Okay, so before a person gets retired, okay, the workflow gets started. So before 15 months, okay, before the retirement, 15 months before the retirement, the workflow gets started and a person will get hassle-free access of pension. Now, also this particular system helps to identify if there is any delay, and can also provide that what is the reason behind the delay. Okay, can assign responsibility. Now, let me tell you one usage of this particular thing. Okay, you see, there is in governance as well as GS paper number 4, there is a topic of accountability. Now, when accountability is concerned, you can give the example of this Bhavishya software that if a delay has happened, it can very clearly provide information that why such a delay has happened. Okay, and therefore accountability will be further strengthened. Next we have here is Green Tug Transition Program. Green Tug Transition Program. Now, what is this Green Tug Transition Program? First of all, what is a tug? So basically, at a port, there will be a big ship. Now, these particular ships are to be moved from one particular bay to other bay, or one part of the port to other part of the port. And for that particular thing, there are these powerful boats or carriers or vessels that are there, which will move the ships from one part of the port to the other part. They are called as tugs. Okay, so recently what has happened, standard operating procedure or guidelines for Green Tug Transition Program was launched. Now, this Green Tug Transition Program, it is the part of Panch Karma Sankalp. Now, what is this Panch Karma Sankalp? So, Panch Karma Sankalp was announced recently by the Union Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterway. Now, Panch Karma Sankalp has 5 components. That is number one, Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterway. It will provide the incentives of financial support, 30% of financial support for the promotion of green shipping. Now, what we want to do green shipping? In green shipping, we want to ensure that carbon footprint of ports should be reduced. Fuel that is used by the ships, it should be cleaner fuel. Okay. Then next, under this Panch Karma Sankalp, Green Truck Transition Program is there, which is being discussed in this particular article now. So green tugs. What are green tugs? These are the boats which use clean energy. So Jawaharlal Nehru Port, VO, Chidambaram Port, Paradeep Port, Deen Dayal Port, Kandla Port, they will procure 2 tugs each. Okay, they will have green tugs. Then Deen Dayal Port, Kandla Port, VO Chidambaram Port, Tuticorin, they will have a green hydrogen hubs. Now already India has started green hydrogen program, in which we want to develop the green hydrogen bunkers at the ports. Okay, so green hydrogen hubs will be developed in these ports. Single window portal to monitor the river and sea cruise, their bookings, as well as Jawaharlal Nehru Port, VO Chidambaram Port, Tuticorin Port, they will become smart ports. So these are the 5 components of the Panch Karma Sankalp, and as a part of this Panch Karma Sankalp, green tug guidelines are released. Now, moving on in this direction, next article that we have here is Arogya Maitri Aid Cube. Now, recently what happened, Indian Army Air Force, they dropped Arogya Maitri Health Cube. Now, what is this Arogya Maitri Health Cube? It is nothing but a kind of a portable which can be established in very less time and can provide immediate medical care and medical aid. Now, these health cubes, they are the part of Project Bhishma. That is Bharat Health Initiative for Sahayog, Hit and Maitri. So Bhishma cubes. Now these Bhishma cubes are also given recently to Ukraine. So, Bhishma cubes, also sometimes called as Arogya Maitri Aid Cube. So Bhishma cube, Arogya Maitri Aid Cube. So these particular these cubes, they are nothing but a kind of a facility, a kind of a temporary structure which can provide medical facilities. It has a mini ICU, operation theater, cooking station, okay, power generator, blood testing equipment, X-ray machine. All these things are there in this Bhishma cube. Now they are portable, they can dropped from the air, so they can be erected anywhere, any place. They are lightweight. Fine. Medical capabilities, they can treat multiple injuries, can treat up to 40 bullet wounds, 25 cases of major bleeding, 25 major burns, 10 head injuries, limb fracture, chest injury, spinal fracture. Okay, one cube can deal with all these. Okay, one cube can deal all with this. Fine. Technological integration. Fine. So basically there can be there is a tab based application which can control 72 cubes and can also integrate AI with that. Okay. Hacky picky tribe. Okay sir, mains related question. Okay, fine dear, will give it. Fine sir, ethics ka new batch. Dear, you can click on the link. New batch of ethics is coming from 5th of September. So there is a link that is given. You can enroll in the batch of ethics. Okay. Also for this batch, we are offering 10% discount to 100 students. So you will get a option of a code at checkout, ETHOS10, ethos 10, and you can use it. Hacky Picky tribe. Hacky Picky tribe. So recently, Hacky Picky tribe was in news because they have become entrepreneurs in the hair oil industry. So Hacky Picky tribe. Now Hacky Picky, name Hacky Picky comes from. Now these are the Kannada tribes. Hacky means bird. Picky means a catcher. So they were traditionally bird catchers and hunters. Bird catchers and hunters. Now this tribe is traditionally from Karnataka region, but they are also found in some parts of Gujarat and Rajasthan, but predominantly they are in Karnataka. Now, though they are in the South India, but they speak Indo-Aryan language, Wagri. However, they also use Kannada. Fine. They also use Kannada for the daily business and transactions. Okay. Now, UNESCO has classified their language Wagri as a endangered language. Rise accelerator. Rise accelerator. Now, this rise accelerator, it is the part of India-Australia collaboration. Now, RISE stands for Rapid Innovation and Startup Expansion. So basically, India and Australia have come together in this rapid innovation and startup expansion. Here, India and Australia will provide support to each other country's startups. Okay, now it is led by India and Cicero of Australia. Cicero stands for Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization. It is Australian agency which promotes the scientific research in Australia. So in Australia, Cicero, and in India, Atal Innovation Mission under Niti Aayog is leading it. Atal Innovation Mission under Niti Aayog is leading it. What it aims to do? It aims to ensure that startups, agri-tech startups, fine, which work in the agriculture sector, they are supported and they can come out with the solutions for the present day challenges. Okay. Gross environment product, GEP, gross environment product. So recently this gross environment product, GEP, was in news. GEP was in news. Why? Because Uttarakhand has started to measure the benefits that it is receiving through environment, and there they are using this GEP. Now, what is GEP? Gross environment product. Now, see, we traditionally use GDP. We use GDP. So GDP is the measure of GDP measures economic value of goods and services. Economic value of goods and services. It is measured by the GDP. Now, what is GEP? What is GEP? GEP. GEP. What is GEP? GEP measures the value of ecological services. Measures the value of ecological services. Now, what ecological services here we are talking about? Let's discuss that. A minute. Okay. So basically, there are provisioning services, regulating services, supporting services, cultural services. What does it mean? Environment provides basic provisioning: food, water, timber. It has some economic value. Regulating service. It regulates flood control. For example, mangroves, they play a role in flood control. Trees, they can play a role in control of landslides. Supporting services, soil formation, nutrient cycling. Cultural services, okay, recreation, spiritual benefits are provided by the environment. So all of this has an economic, all of this has an economic benefit, all of this has an economic worth. Okay. Now, there is this green GDP concept also that we have. What is green GDP? Now you see, when GDP is concerned, when economic benefit you are deriving, now see, when the GDP is concerned, okay, any country's economic development uses some resources. It has some negative impact on environment. It has some negative impact on environment. Now, green GDP concept takes in account the damage to environment that has happened because of a particular GDP that has been achieved by a nation. So, in the green GDP exercise, GEP is an important concept. Now, also it is important that we calculate the economic value of these environmental services, because all the time we are damaging environment for the sake of development. Now, there are some case studies. For example, sometimes GEP can surpass GDP. So in Qinghai, China, it was seen that GEP was higher than GDP in 2000. So therefore, calculating the value of environmental services, ecology, it can be an important thing for environmental conservation. Then after that, Miyawaki method was in news. Now, what is Miyawaki method? So recently, uh, Chhattisgarh Forest Department, in one Mahotsav, uh, they use the Miyawaki method to plant sapling. Now, Miyawaki method, it is a Japanese method. In this particular method, what happens in close it in small piece of land, there will be the multiple native trees that will be planted. So what will happen? 2 to 4 native trees per square meter will be planted. Now they are being planted at such a close distance so that they compete with each other. And they grow rapidly. Now, indigenous species are only suggested, and here it has been seen that Miyawaki forest, they grow 10 times faster. They are 30 times denser, and also they support 100 times more biodiversity. Next, bunny grasslands. So basically, bunny grasslands are traditional grasslands in Gujarat, which have faced a lot of environmental degradation. And now, what is happening? So basically, Gujarat government is working on preserving these bunny grasslands. Now, where these bunny grasslands are found? They are found in Kutch district of Gujarat. And this particular region, it is inhabited by ethnic groups, pastoralists. Okay, also it has rich flora and fauna. Parvovirus B19. Recently, parvovirus B19 was in news because it has a very interesting kind of a name, that is fifth disease. It is also called as a slapped cheek illness. First of all, why it is called as a slapped cheek illness? This particular virus, it leads to the slap cheeked illness. Which virus? Parvovirus B19. Now, it creates, because of this virus, there is a red color rash that comes on the face. So when a child gets a slap from the parents, so they have this red cheek. Therefore, it is called as slapped cheek illness. So a distinct rash is caused on the face. Also, it is called as fifth disease. Why fifth disease? Because it is a fifth disease which is listed in group of common childhood disease. Characterized by the rashes. So there are 5 common diseases in childhood which leads to rashes, and it is the fifth one. Therefore, it is called as fifth disease. Now, it is transmitted by the parvovirus B19, and it largely spreads through the airborne droplets, contaminated blood products. Okay, or the mother can also transmit it to the child. Largely, the symptoms are mild and resolve at its own. The next is Hayflick limit. Now, what is Hayflick limit? So basically, Hayflick limit was in news, which comes after the name of Leonard Hayflick. Now, Leonard Hayflick provided this particular thing, that there is a limitation to the life of a person. You cannot live endlessly. So that particular limit is around 125 years. Why that limitation? So it has been said that actually there is a limit there is a limit for somatic cells to divide. So somatic cells, they can divide up to a particular limit only, and they cannot divide for the maximum number of times that they can divide. A person can maximum live till 125 years. So Hayflick limit, it refers to the limit to the maximum numbers of times a normal cell can divide. So say cell division happens in 3 phases. So early phase, cell divides rapidly. Then intermediate phase, cell division slows down. Then senescence phase, cells stop dividing altogether, and then a person dies. Now this particular thing has also been confirmed by one more study that was done in 1970. So basically in 1970, there was the discovery of telomerase protective DNA. Now what is telomerase? So basically telomerase, it is a protective layering kind of a thing. So basically when the cell divides, the telomerase on the cell, it gets shortened, and as it will get shortened up, a person's lifespan will be over. Next we have here is the Court of Arbitration for Sports. So recently, you might have already seen this particular thing, that Vinesh Fogart was disqualified for being 100 grams overweight. So there, the Court of Arbitration for Sport came in news. Fine. Now, Court of Arbitration, it was established in 1984 under International Council of Arbitration for Sports, and it is largely responsible for arbitration. It resolves the legal disputes, fine, and issues the arbitral awards. It resolves the mediation, and it is also a special tribunal for sporting events. Okay, so Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games, specific games, fine, it takes. Next, discovery of liquid water on Mars. So recently on Mars, liquid water has been researched, and this particular finding, it is published in published in National Academy of Services, Proceedings of the National Academy of Services. Now, first of all, how this particular research was published. So basically, data was taken from NASA's InSight lander. So NASA's InSight lander, okay, it collected data from NASA's InSight lander. It landed on Mars, and it collected data from Mars. Okay, and data was collected from 1300 Mars quakes. So on Earth we have earthquakes, on Mars there are Mars quakes. Meteorite impact. So as meteorite are falling on Mars, so the craters that are created, from there it took the data. From Mars quakes, it took the data, and on the basis of this particular data, it was found that there is water at the in the depth of 10 to 20 kilometers in the Mars crust. So at the depth of 10 to 20 kilometers from the crust, there is water. Now this water points out to the potential of life, but extraction of water at which is 10-20 kilometers deep, that is difficult. Then lunar magma ocean. So recently Chandrayaan 3's findings, they came in the news. So Chandrayaan 3, what has happened? It has found the presence of lunar magma ocean. Now what is this lunar magma ocean? So lunar magma ocean simply means that at once upon a time, what happened? Entire surface of moon was a sea of magma. Now, so Pragyan rover of Chandrayaan 3 discovered a special type of rock, that is ferron anorthosite. On the south pole of moon. Now first of all, this ferron anorthosite rock, basically its evidence was also found by Apollo and Luna mission. Now you see this particular thing, that when ferron anthracite is concerned, so basically as the magma cools, various minerals, they crystallize at the different length. Okay, so first of all, magma is in liquid. So as it will cool, different minerals, depending on their density, it will cool, it will solidify in the different layers. Now when we talk about the ferron anorthosite, it is rich in calcium, aluminum, and it floats on the surface. So It is associated with magma. And as it has been found, it shows that at once upon a time, moon's surface was made up of sea of magma. Sea of magma. So by that we can get better insight in the formation of moon. In the formation of moon. Okay. Also, there are some related things. Impact hypothesis was in news. What is impact hypothesis? So impact hypothesis provide about the data. It provides that how moon was formed. So it provides that moon was formed because there was a collision that happened between the early Earth and some other planetary body. Because of that collision, some debris got detached, and that debris is moon. South Pole Atkin Basin. Now, South Pole Atkin Basin, it is a impact crater in the moon, and this happens to be one of the biggest crater. Here, Chandrayaan-3 landed. Alpha particle X-ray spectrometer APXCS. So this was used by Pragyan to analyze the chemical composition of moon. PM Vani scheme was in news. PM Vani scheme was in news. Now, what is PM Vani? So PM Vani stands for Prime Minister Wi-Fi Access Network Interface Scheme. Now, PM Vani aims to provide high-speed Wi-Fi internet connectivity. High-speed Wi-Fi internet connectivity. Now, under this PM Wi-Fi, high-speed internet access through the public Wi-Fis will be provided. So there will be public data offices which will provide Wi-Fi hotspots, internet services. Okay, there will be public data office aggregator which will provide which will manage all the data plans and everything. Okay, there will be dedicated apps and a central registry. Okay, so that is all, guys, about it. Fine. So I hope that you have understood it, and with this we come to an end to the today's session. So that is all for today. Now we'll be meeting in next class. Thank you so much.